That is frustrating when you talk and then the thing resets this audio for you. I am here. I hope you guys hear me. My audio on its own just reset because it just wanted to. You should be able to hear me now. You should be able to hear me now. For some odd reason, it just reset. But what is up, fam? We're going to be talking about some stuff today. So I'm really excited. I'm going to be joined today by my friend, which some of you may wonder if he's like my only friend. But I'm going to be joined today by my buddy, Alex Secret. He's going to be swinging on through. We're just going to be talking today about everything that's happening over there and everything that's happening over here as well. So, of course, make sure y'all join in on the conversation. We love to hear some of your thoughts as well. And I need to invite that man. So, yes, let me. I'm going to send this dude, Alex, an invite, and we're going to actually have a conversation. There's a couple of news stories that we really want to cover. A lot of which, and I don't want to spoil it ahead of time, will all relate to just how Korea is either A, doing good stuff in the fight against Russia, but then also how Korea, as much as I love Korea, sometimes some people can be very, what's the word I'm looking for? They can be very not intrusive. They get in the way. They get in the way. Please no Ukraine talk. Rohit, I'm sure you probably heard so much about it already, right? But there's a lot happening. There's a lot happening. So, Alex, here is your link. So, our buddy Alex is going to be joining us today for the show. He's going to be joining us today. But really quickly, I just got to say what's up to y'all in the chat. What is up, Mesme? I have not seen you in forever. It's so good to see your name in the chat, Mesme. I have not literally seen you forever. Also, Rohit, what is up, bro? I haven't seen you since yesterday's stream. Skylar, what up? Skylar's up in the house, y'all. Skylar's up in the house. And yeah, I'm also sipping my makgeolli right now. I kind of have a two camera setup today, so you guys can kind of see my whole studio. My table's filthy. I really need to clean my table. My table is dirty. It's dirty. But yes, here we go. I need to get a third camera, but my third camera right now is just my computer. I don't want to use it. It'd be really ugly. So what is a lot, and it is happening, my opinion. Oh, sorry. The Ukrainian talk, my opinion. Yeah, a lot is happening. But there's like a lot to discuss. But while we wait for Alex to come in, there's a couple of things I want to talk about that are just happening in Korea. And so I'm going to be showing y'all on my computer some news articles that y'all can go. I'm only going to cover it briefly, but you can go and check the rest out yourself. Which one of these things is this? The QR system in Korea is now, it's temporarily paused. Well, the article says temporarily paused. We kind of believe that it might be done. And I will go over it with y'all now. Oh, no, stop it. There we go. Okay, there we go. Technology. Gotta love technology. All right. So here you can see the vaccine pass is temporarily paused. Of course, we all know that this all deals with the election. Candidates really want. Is that the right one? That is the right one. There we go. Candidates really probably want to do very well in the election, and so they're kind of like suspending things that a lot of people. First of all, let me take a step back. Right now, Korea is gearing up for the next presidential election. And so we honestly believe that what they want to do is possibly suspend the QR system or the vaccine pass system. It's not very favorable. Many people don't like it. And so it could be used as a way to gain more votes, make people more happy. So right now, if you live in South Korea and you do not have a vaccine, you do not have the vaccine pass, this is now making it easier. So then now people without that can go into different businesses, restaurants, bars, whatever, right? I'm not quite sure as to how long they're going to keep this going, but what we do know is right now, this is going. So Glad the vaccine pass suspended because the BF wasn't allowed anywhere since he didn't have the pass. I guess he didn't have the pass because like did he not have like on his phone? Because I know it's really hard for people with their phones in Korea. Like if they don't have a Korean number and everything, the vaccine pass is it's kind of hell for a lot of them. They can't really do much. Yeah, and I know you started a new semester recently, so I think what school started last week, right? As well as you have a new relationship. Congratulations to you, friend. I've been keeping up with you online. I don't think most people will vote just because of that. I don't think most people will vote just because of that, but people are going to try and get as much as they can. They're going to try and get as many votes as they can. And this system is not very popular in Korea, like at all. So let us know, what do you guys think about the vaccine pass being temporarily suspended, even though there are many, many, many cases in which, let me see if you can see this on my phone. Let me show you how many cases there are in Korea. Mesme, I'm not too sure if you know how many cases there are. There is a buttload of cases. Here's how many cases there are in Korea. Currently, right now, at this moment, there are, and this is a new record number, which many people didn't think it would ever get this high. Let's see if you guys can see this on my phone. You probably can't. No, you can't. I would have to zoom in. There are 206,000 cases right now in South Korea. 206,000 cases. That is a lot of people. I'm curious, can we make it to 1 million in a day? I don't think we can make it to 1 million in a day, which if we did, then it would take 52 days for people for all of South Korea to be sick with COVID. But it's going around, folks. It is going around. We were terrified when it was 100,000. Now it's double that. I don't know where we're going to go with when it comes to COVID, but anyway, they suspended it. The vaccine passed. We will see what will happen. I hear you can't order a PCR kit at home. No, you cannot. You cannot order a PCR kit at home. Yeah, it's crazy. What do I think about the universities doing in-person classes now? In-person classes? Well, I'm also doing in-person classes soon, even though, well, they want to bring us back. The tricky part is I don't think anybody wants to go back. That's just my opinion. Just because, so many people are sick and there's so many kids sick and kids can't get vaccines at all. So they're kind of just walking petri dishes and they just kind of get people sick. So as much as I love being with them, I also realize that a lot of people can get sick. So we have to always be careful. And so, yeah, that's kind of my opinion. I don't know if I'm not too wanting to be around people who can make me sick. So, but I do miss the kids. Universities in America have been in person. So, I mean, in Korea, it seems a little dangerous with the COVID numbers. Also, Korea is tiny too. So, like, where everybody's on top, Skylar, as you know, everybody's kind of on top of each other here in Korea, right? So, it's so much easier for people to get sick here. So much easier. Lots of cases of students being sick, but we're still required to teach, even if we are possibly exposed. Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Like we're supposed to go back in, and if we're sick, we don't go. But if it's online, I don't know. It's a little bit blurry. It's a little bit blurry here. Like I don't know if I should go in or not, or if I should do online school or not, even if I'm sick, because I don't have a voice. Give me 1 second, y'all. I have to call this man, Alex. Call Alex. He's not in the room. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Hopefully we don't get another wave. And he hung up. Okay. All right, Alex. So make sure you come through. And so also other news that some of you may not know, but I think you do, is that today is the 1st of March. And so in Korean history, the 1st of March is a very big day because it marks one of the biggest demonstrations that Koreans have had to fight against Imperial Japan. This happened again on March 1st, 1919. So it's a little bit over the 100-year anniversary. So it's like, 102 years, right? And it's crazy. It was a really interesting protest. It was a huge protest. A lot of people were fighting across the country against Japanese imperial rule. It took them until 1945 to actually be free, but we all know that's because of World War II. But I just did a video on it. So if you have not gone and seen that video, you need to go and you need to see that video. That video would be, let me go. That video is actually a YouTube short, which if some of you are wondering why I'm making a ton of YouTube shorts, that's a different story. I'll be more than happy to say it in a second though. But you will be able to find that video right here. So make sure you go through and check out my YouTube short where I just talk about how Korea is protesting, or how it protested, against Japanese invaders in 1919. So go check it out. It's a great historical piece, and I say it not just because I made the video, but just because it's all about history. It's a good part of history. So make sure you go check that out, fam. Alex, I'm gonna slap you. This man is not coming, so I might just need to go without him. I'm thinking. Your view, Japanese lecturing Russia over Ukraine. Oh, hold on, let me go back up. I know for sure I'll get COVID a second time. I got Omicron not too long ago. I'm still dealing with the side effects. I never want to experience that again. Yes, Rose just got sick and she just got over it. So it's just like, it's terrible. It's a terrible way to get sick. Your view, Japanese lecturing Russia over Ukraine. What do you mean, Rohit? What do you mean? What do you mean? You bet Alex fell asleep? Okay, now Alex just said he's ready. So I sent him all right, so now he said he's ready. So I'm waiting for him to set the link, and then we're going to bring him in. So he didn't fall asleep. There he goes. I see him now. So he is setting up his stuff. So much to talk about today. And I'll go ahead and introduce my homie. This is my homie, y'all, Alex Seeger is here. We're going to be talking today about some news that is going down in South Korea. What's up,
Hello,
man?
everyone. Not much. Enjoying my luxury stay here at a hotel.
Nice. Where are you right now?
I'm in Daegu, South Korea.
Oh, you're in Daegu.
Yeah, I'm in the. It's just the hotel now. Had myself some chuotong, which is loach stew. Did not know that until I was halfway through eating it, but just got here and it's nice and warm. And I like coming to Daegu. I'm at the convention center right now.
Nice. Yeah. I'm still in China. I've never been to Daegu, actually.
You know, I want to legit explore it. This is my third or fourth time here on business. And every time I've come, our friends who would be in Daegu that live in Seoul, they're never here. So, and also it's a COVID time. So
yeah. It's a city like guys, in case y'all don't know, like as you're heading further down south, Daegu is it's not too far from Busan, is it? It's like a couple of hours, like an hour and a half-ish. 2 hours from Busan.
It's on the KTX, it's on the way to Busan, right? Because the KTX swoops around this way. Yeah. But I don't know how long it would take. Maybe it'd take an hour and a half to drive. I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's a city that, again, I've never gone to. I've been to Daejeon on the way to Daegu, but never been to Daegu itself. But I really want to go. I hear some good things about the city. And so, for shizzle. But anyway, we're just talking about news, bro. Right before you came in, I don't know if you were listening. Right before you came in, we talked about
your recent posts, your updated thing on March 1st. I was catching the end of that.
So talk about the recent posts. So tell everybody go check that out. And then also we talked about the end of the vaccine pass.
Oh yeah, just in time for the 200,000 cases a day.
Right.
Woohoo!
206.
Jeez.
206. There are a lot of freaking cases today, y'all. A lot. I'm like, and it's funny, like, we have people who say like, I don't think it's gonna get that high. Like, I don't think it's gonna get up to 200,000. They're like, whoop, there it is, man. Like I don't want COVID.
It almost feels like unavoidable. It's like you're just trying to make it through this wave, and if you make it through the wave, we can get the Omicron vaccine. But if you don't make it through the wave, then you have the Omicron antibodies. So
yeah,
whatever at this point.
you're gonna get something. And the tricky
There aren't
part
many.
is this.
There aren't many 2-time COVID patients in Korea. I don't want to be one of the first ones. There are a few, but in America, a lot of my friends were 2-time patients. But
yeah,
I don't know any 2-time patients yet.
Yeah. Earlier, Mesme asked me, she was like, how do I feel about schools going back and everything, right? And it makes me like, I think about like, Skylar says, Korea is so small. And it's like the tricky part when you're working with kids is that like you will teach at a school and then the kids will leave the school and then they'll go to a Hagwon. And then those Hagwon, you have different kids coming from wherever, right? And then a lot of time those kids are going to different Hagwons. So just the amount of like paths that there is of just kids mixing and mingling from all over and being around each other. Like you truly don't know what the kid you're standing next to, who they stand next to, who they breathe next to, So like, that's why it's a little bit uneasy. Like, especially as a teacher, I'm a little bit uneasy, especially when people are just going from Hagwon to Hagwon to Hagwon.
Yeah, and it's kind of rough too because it's winter time and you can't open the windows. You can't do basic air ventilation stuff to take care of that, and at least make it less dangerous. Now, as a non-teacher, non-parent, I can sit on my high horse and be like, "You shouldn't have school right now." But I still kind of stand by my claim. I think the government's just kind of like, at this point, it's let's just get herd immunity rather than stretch. Everyone, they probably have an idea like 10 million people are going to get it over the next 5 months. Let's just get it out of the way now. Might be their idea. I don't actually know for sure.
Yeah, at this point, now, I mean, even I would say it's been like a week and a half-ish, 2 weeks since we've had over 100,000 people get sick, right? It's just like within that time, that right there is 1 million plus people. Right.
Jeez,
now we got 200 some million, right? Even if this goes for a couple more days, then we got 2 million out of 52 million, 53 million people who have COVID, which, and then people before that got sick, right? So then it's just like, it's just going to keep going. So
the number is interesting though. I mean, just look at the number behind what 200,000 means a day. Let's say it's only 200,000, which is not true, but that means that literally, I think I gotta remember the math, but it's something like 1 in 300 or 1 in 250 people a day will test positive for COVID. Of people, we know more than 250 people in Korea over the last 5-10 years. It's like we're gonna like one person a day that we know is gonna catch it. It's insane. What did you just post? I didn't see it. Oh no, you shared something.
Skylar said.
I knew that was the one you'd post. Yeah, I was a teacher, but I've never been a teacher during COVID, so that's for sure.
And then,
and I've never been a homeroom teacher. I've only been an English teacher. Very different.
Oh yeah, they're so different. Oh, they're so different. Let me see. Mesme said, I offer my class for y'all to teach. It's been 2 years since I was in the classroom.
Heck yeah, that's like the one. She got one of them jobs at. Oh, Thursday. Yeah, like she's got one of those uni jobs, right? That was the dream and still a possibility for me at one point, but those jobs are nice and fun. I think they'd be more. I enjoy teaching adults more. That's not true. It's different teaching adults. It's different. Yeah, it's different. I like teaching kids, to be fair.
Really quickly, before we jump over to news, I just want to show you something completely irrelevant.
Bring it.
I just decided to hook up my second camera.
Like,
there's no reason. Like, I have no like purpose for having just a wide angle camera. My table's really shaky. You can see the table kind of shakes.
Me too now. What's up? Corner shot. This looks a little too. I look like I'm in like my sick bed, like I'm in Willy Wonka or something when they're like all the grandparents are in that bed.
Yeah, you do look a little bit. It looks a little bit lonely in there.
I asked. We had the option of this or like the super fancy hotel, but this room gets a free breakfast and free coffee in the morning, so I chose this one. Yeah. I love. Have you ever had a job I guess probably not. You've never had a job that required you to travel. Did you ever do like conferences as a teacher or something?
Yeah, yeah. I
Okay,
did.
you've done that, yeah.
Yeah, when I first came over to Korea, and I had to train. My first training was in Osaka, and let me see. I went
You
once
mean
to Osaka.
when you came to Japan or when you came to Korea?
I'm sorry. When I came to Korea, I had to go to Japan.
Oh, shoot.
So
That's
my
cool.
training was at a school in Osaka.
I I love paid when you get paid and you just go elsewhere. I can't believe you went to Osaka. That's freaking dope.
Oh man, the second one was in Yokohama. So this is beautiful. By the way, Cabby wants to know if you want any king cake, which I don't know. I'm not familiar with king cake. Maybe that's a Googleable thing. I need to Google that.
Is this a southern thing? I gotta check this out.
If you want some
Oh
king
my
cake,
gosh. Oh shoot, is it Mardi Gras this week?
it's, I think it's Margaret. I know it's whatchamacallit. What's the one in Brazil? Carnival. It's Carnival.
Wait a second. What is this? This Mardi Gras king cake looks amazing. What on earth is it made of? Brown sugar, cinnamon, eggs. Dude, what is this? This looks
Now looking
awesome.
Oh wow, that does look really good.
Well, I can't believe I've never really celebrated. As a Catholic, we called it like Fat Tuesday, and it's like, oh, you can eat candy before you give it up for Lent.
That does look good. Yeah, go ahead and send some of that over, Cabby. Go ahead and send some of that over.
Oh yeah, how do we get that? Oh, it is. So Mardi Gras is today on Tuesday, and tomorrow is for the Catholic. I don't know what the other Christian denominations did, but I think
that's nice.
Did you do Lent, or is that a Catholic thing?
I think it's a Catholic thing.
40 days of giving up something before.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so interesting. But Mardi Gras, dope. That's something to try one day. If I go back to the States, if I go to the South, I'm gonna see if they have this king cake.
Yeah, you should. You should. Now that's a particular part of the South.
Yeah,
for sure. By the way, I gotta step out for 1 second, Alex. If you can just talk to folks, my computer battery just drained all the way down to 8%. So
go.
Yeah, I'm gonna be right back. So I'm gonna just remove myself.
Oh my gosh, it's just me. Hi everyone. It's the Alex Secrets takeover of the My Cole YouTube channel, and I am here to wow, it's so quiet all of a sudden because I've got these I got the noise canceling headphones on, and so it's like dead quiet. At least with Mike, I had like room noise ambiance. It's just so different. Hey everyone! By the way, I didn't say hi to everyone in the chat room. I do see y'all over there. Hey Cabby, and good to see you, Mesme. Just seeing you around, and everyone else who is here, Rohit as well. So thanks for joining me on Mike's room. The day has finally come. I'm in charge. I wish I could take that comment and put it up on the screen, but I can't. It says, "You're in the show. Everyone can see and hear you." Well, I hope so. That would be really weird. Is there anything you want to know about Mike? I can give you all the details, the dirty dish about Mike. Let's see. Yes, I would love a tour of the South. The South. I do. That king cake looks amazing. I think I'm going to be going back to the U.S. in June for a very short period of time. So I won't be able to go down to the South, but I'll be hitting up Ohio and Michigan. In case anyone's in the area, although Michigan's a family trip. I forgot how fun it was just to talk to yourself on a YouTube stream. I should probably do one on my own YouTube channel soon. But yeah, Mike, for those who are coming in right now, Mike will be back in just a second. He needs to charge his battery, I believe. I think that's what's going on. Good night, Mesme. Talk to you in a bit.
Good night.
Classes, do your thing.
Night, Mesme. I know I got classes tomorrow too, so.
You got back before they gave me questions about your personal details I was going to give you.
Yeah, like, so if you're trying to learn, if you want to know Michael's social security numbers, like, oh, Alex, oh.
Oh yeah, because I know that. I'm gonna try to fix the angle so I can get the Instagram cut jawline angle. Because winter wasn't nice to my jawline.
Yeah, I don't even know if I still have mine. Well, I mean, but also I kind of have like facial hair right now. I need to shave, so it's a little bit
all
harder
an angle. was talking to the girlfriend earlier, and I was just kind of like, you're just being lazy. I'm just sitting like this the whole time. I'm like, God, this is not attractive.
It's
I
not.
look like Cartman
You
from that World of Warcraft one. They're just, all right, we're gonna Leroy Jenkins.
Them triple chins. You look good with it though. You look good with it though. So I forgot to ask
sir.
Mike.
Mm.
So I was looking at some of the news we're gonna be talking about today.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of news. I mean, the whole world is going to is it a hell in a handbasket? No, that's not right.
I mean,
I don't know. Is that a phrase?
Yeah, I mean that's it. It could be going to hell in a handbasket.
Oh, that is a phrase. It sounded.
That is a phrase. That is
hell
a
in
phrase.
a handbasket.
That is.
Huh.
It's inside a king cake, and if you find a baby, then you have to buy the next king cake. Apparently, there's a baby Jesus hidden in sweet baby Jesus hidden in a king cake.
Huh? And if you bite into it, you have to buy the next cake. That's kind of cool.
That's interesting.
I miss American traditions. Our traditions are super weird, but I do miss them.
Yeah, I do too. I miss Miracle. Uh-oh.
We've had a lot of news, or sorry, I just got the news. We have a lot of American traditions we don't celebrate because of COVID, but I've missed a lot of Thanksgivings because of COVID.
Yeah, I know.
Yo, this news is not good for the lead presidential candidate, or not lead, but of the leading party.
Mm-hmm. And he's so he's in the same political party as President Moon.
Yeah.
Right? Which one? Oh, the ruling. Wait, what party is that? It's
Minjudang. It's the
Minjudang.
Basically it's simply put the Democratic Party of Korea.
Mm-hmm.
The specific name for Minjudang is what is it? It's
I know the opposite is the People's Power Party, which is like the conservative party.
Yeah, the one that changes their name every 4 years because they have a scandal. Yeah, that one.
They changed their name a couple years back too. Yeah, I remember
that. So it's now called the Democratic Party of Korea is the Doburo Minjudang. But I think Doburo means like together. But the English is just Democratic Party of Korea. Yeah, every time the president goes through a scandal, that party and the party loses after the scandal, then they change their name so that people forget, I guess.
It's like clockwork.
Yeah, can you imagine if the U.S. did that every time? Like, cool.
Go back to the Whigs. Like, we're going to have tons of the party names, right?
Yo, so what this guy said was insane. Well, insane for someone who wants to be the president of a country when the entire country is behind Ukraine, and he went on and just used like a Russian talking point, which I can't read that small in front of you, but basically it was something like, well, they had a novice politician in their comedian president who asked to be in the European Union or NATO too quickly, so it's kind of his fault. It's basically what he said during a debate, and I was like, I sometimes wonder if I would be a great presidential candidate because I don't say as dumb of things as presidential candidates say sometimes in these debates. Like this,
here's what he said.
This was bad.
So he basically said, in Ukraine, a novice politician of 6 months became president and declared Ukraine's accession to NATO, which provoked Russia and eventually led to a clash. So he said this about the Ukraine, which was basically the president is a noob, and basically Russia was provoked, which led to the current conflict.
Why even say, like, you're allowed to have opinions on stuff, and you can have wrong opinions, you can have different opinions, but that's just like a dumb one that you just shouldn't say.
No, and considering you would think, I don't know, maybe he was talking out of his butt at the time, but you would think that if the whole world or a high majority of the world is on one side of the fence, if you come out swinging and say something dumb that portrays the opposite side, like I wouldn't want to say anything to look like I'm on Russia's side right now. That's going to make you look bad, especially with the party that he's in, especially with the party that he's in, which is a Democratic liberal party. So yeah, basically he's he's blaming the Ukrainian president for the things that are happening right now, which
that's like literally, y'all remember like the schoolyard bully that would be like, I guess I can only give an example, but like a smaller kid would get in his way and it'd be like, hey, you got in my way, so I had to punch you. Like, what?
Yeah.
No, you never have to do any of these things. You never have to punch, you never have to resort to bullying. But
you don't. Yeah, it's just ridiculous that the fact that like it still surprises me that like I'm not gonna say that the election is given to him just because he's from the ruling party, but you know that obviously your party is like the champion, right? And then the other party is coming as like the challenger, right? So like you kind of already have it, but I'm afraid he might have just put his own foot in his mouth. Which you know, I said to others, I was like, for this election, and not to talk too much U.S. politics, but I was like, from what I hear from other Koreans, this election is kind of like what we had in 2016, where we just didn't know. We didn't know, like, do I really want this person? Like, both candidates, you were like, I mean, obviously one candidate was very bad compared to the other, but like, people didn't really weren't passionate for either person, right? It's kind of like the point here.
Yeah, there were three types of voters in 2020. There was anti-Trump, there was pro-Republican Party or anti-Democratic Party, and then there was pro-Trump. There was no one who was really pro-Biden, and that seems to be a little bit of what's going on right now. Like, the people I've talked to on the left aren't really pro Lee Jae-myung. The people on the right are probably split in some way. Like, but he does have like an anti women's gender ministry. Like, he's anti-feminism, anti-women's equality. Yeah, well, he's tapping into the young male angry, which is like, I need to say this, so I'm not against people being young and angry, because the society is really letting down young Korean men and Korean women. But this is definitely a politician who is weaponizing the anti-feminism movement right now to blame like 22-year-old girls for the problems of a society. So anyway, yeah, you can probably guess my political leanings a little bit in this election.
Yeah.
Plus, in general, if you're a foreigner in a country, you generally want the left to win because the right is usually more anti-foreigner.
But in this one, the right is... Hold on. The left is anti-foreign.
So the left also... This is why it's lesser of two evils, because the guy on the left also tried to exclude foreigners in the Gyeonggi province from receiving the same benefits during COVID. And so... I talked to a friend of mine whose wife is working on the campaign, and it's kind of just like they're sucking it up because, yeah, like you said, he's also not always been the best pro-foreigner guy either.
Right.
So lesser of two evil fight in this one, it sounds like.
That's basically what it's come down to at this point, is the lesser of the two evils. Which one would do the least amount of damage? And, you know, I was speaking with Rose and her family, and Rose's parents were just like, we have no idea who to vote for. So, like, you know, for foreigners, we're kind of like, you know, don't really know which one to go with. I mean, but, you know, we're not voting anyway. But, like, even the Koreans are like, I don't even know. There's no one that anyone's really passionate about. And that's sad when both your candidates, like, people are just like, I don't see much either. I don't see much difference, or they're so different that both of them look terrible. And so, I don't. This election wins. What day is this? Next?
It's on Tuesday? The 9th, I believe.
The 9th?
Is it the 9th? Could be the 7th. It's next week, middle of the week.
Wednesday. Next Wednesday.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it could be next Wednesday. I mean, but it's hard to say, like, if I were to vote as a Korean, because I don't know much about the economic policies, and and I know they both have scandals around them, and I know like there's not a lot. The only thing is they want to get rid of the Ministry of Gender and Family, and I'm like, that is just such a weird thing that I'm basing my entire opinion on that. And honestly, if I were a real Korean, I would do more research. I would find out more information about all the politicians. And this is just me. Like you said, I'm not voting, so whatever they vote, I just have to go by.
Yeah, I see Brown Sugar Bay, which I looked at that clip and I was curious. I saw it briefly, but it was like she's upset about how how they were treating African students, workers, while they were trying to leave as well. And like I looked at the clip, I wanted to do more research on that clip as well, just because the part that I saw, it was like I saw someone else wrote a description for it about like this is like African students weren't being allowed to like get on the train and everything to get out of Kyiv. I think it was Kyiv, and everything, and like a lot of people in the comments were really upset. I didn't have the time to like actually check and see like whether that was like exactly like where it was happening and how it was happening. Like regardless, it's still like ugly. It's still nasty and it's frustrating. But I'm curious also where that clip came from. And the only reason why I say that, and it's just for me not to say like it's never okay, but also I find it, I don't know how to put it. I'm kind of trying to decide if I should even say it, but it's like Russia is very, what's the word I'm looking for? They know how to play the game as well. Like I think back to our election in 2016, Russia was a big part of that, and they use a lot of things on social media. And so again, I'm not saying that it's wrong. I mean, it is wrong. Excuse me, like what happened with the train and a lot of African students, but it also makes me wonder too whether that was like planted. You know what I mean? Does that make sense, Alex? If that was planted to discredit Ukrainians, again, like I said, like if it wasn't, then like regardless, it's still pretty like crappy. But like at the same time, I just wonder.
So what Russia does, and what Russia does really well, is they take things that are wrong about Western society, like in the U.S. We do a lot of terrible things, and we also have human rights issues. But they'll take something that is small relatively in our society, and then just say, you do it, we do it, we all do it, we all do human rights abuses. It's America does it, but they use really good rhetoric to equivocate it and to make America look bad, or in this case, maybe Ukraine. I'm sure there's racism in Ukraine like going on right now. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah,
but the idea that but so it's hard. That's why it's such a good strategy, because of course it pulls on our heartstrings, because it's true. That should not be happening. That clip, if it's valid, I assume it is, that should not be happening. But we also have to remember, the goal of the clip is to divide us. And it worked so well in America. I'm not saying this clip is dividing us, and I'm not saying this clip should be ignored.
Because I was just looking at the chat. I see Brown Sugar Bay said that the students posted it.
It can't be ignored. However,
I wouldn't be surprised if it gets used.
Right.
If it gets used from here. Yeah.
I think that's my stance on it. Yeah. I'm not saying, don't talk about it, because we are also in the privileged position of not being in that part of Europe. So we can talk about it. As long as I think in the back of our mind, we remember that I think Russia is at fault here. There seems to be a lot of evidence pointing to that the overall conflict, Russia's at fault. And the reason I'm so kind of passionate about this is because there are so many Americans on the right wing right now who are sort of like pro-Russia because of this media misinformation that came out that went through the Republican ranks and went to Trump. And to the point where we shared in our group chat earlier, there's a guy from America, from Texas, fighting for the Russians.
Yeah, I was like, freaking Russia or freaking Texas, man.
So God, it does take a little bit of
freaking Texas
holding two ideas in the same. And honestly, the people that are bringing up this video though are not in the wrong. I don't think they're dividing us. I think it's why it works is because the Russians will use the video. People will rightfully bring it up and say, we need to talk about this racism. And
Mhm.
then there'll be a reaction from the other people who are like, we don't need to talk about racism now. We need to talk about whatever. And that's how it kind of works. And that's why America gets divided, just because it's like,
Yeah,
yeah.
it can definitely, it's gonna get tricky. Yeah. I see Cabby wants to ask questions about Jeju, which that's a big jump just to swing from the war. Jeju. I've never been.
I'm gonna move to a more stable place so that I
You
don't
go
keep
ahead.
shaking.
Go ahead.
I finally charged the battery enough that I can
You go
find
ahead.
myself a
I'll
chair.
answer this question. Cabby, I've never been. I hear it's a really nice hotel, but typically, like when I go, I'm too broke or cheap, so I'll always stay at a much cheaper hotel. So
Okay.
or like a Airbnb. So, but I hear it's really nice. Maybe one day I'll go for business. Maybe like I'll do some video there.
Yeah, I do nice hotels when people pay for me.
There you go. I need to go there to Jeju and be like, hey, I'm gonna make a video on the Jeju massacre. And then they'd be like, hey, welcome, go ahead and stay at this really nice hotel then.
Yeah. Oh, the lighting's not as pretty, but I guess I'll deal with it for now.
Yeah. I do like this guy, just to kind of cycle back to the topic. Yeah, people want a war, but Biden doesn't want a war. And typically, I'm not going to say typically Democratic presidents don't jump into wars, even though if you look at it historically, Democratic presidents don't jump into wars. But yeah, if we actually fight, then yeah, it'll cause other people to jump in for sure, and then yeah, it'll just escalate from there. So that's the tricky part, right? If America jumps in, then that can also be a soundboard for other countries to jump in as well.
No.
Yeah, so I think right now though, like we're kind of hitting, like the world is hitting Russia in its pocket, right?
Yeah.
Which hurts. Like to get hit in your pockets is painful, right? Because money makes a lot of the world go round, right? And so now if Russia just has less money, but at the same time the world is kind of backing another side and just hitting, they're hitting Russia back with it. It's just they're losing on both ends, right?
Yep. I'll be honest. I mean, I'm not a huge Biden fan either, but like I think they've done exactly what needs to be done in this position.
Yeah.
The only, time will tell how crazy Putin actually is or is not.
Yeah.
If he's a rational actor or not. But I mean, I can't think incredible how good the U.S. intelligence actually was.
Yeah, I know,
They
right?
were like the only ones saying like, "Hey guys, Russia's here. You should do something." And even the Ukrainian president was like, "Nah, we're fine." And U.S. was like, "There's more of them here. We should do something." And the U.S.
right.
Yeah.
It's those satellite images. Like even looking at that huge convoy that's heading there.
Oh my god, that's scary, man.
That's scary.
Like, I feel bad as I wish it was easy enough to say, why can't the U.S. just blow up that convoy? Like we have all the missile technology to do it, and I know why we're not, and it's better that we don't. But there is a part of me that's like, God, save the people in that city,
Here's my prediction. The U.S. will not join the war unless the U.S. gets provoked to join the war. And the reason why I say that is historically, if you go back and look at any of the world wars, now we're going to leave out Vietnam. But let's say Korea. The U.S. wasn't in the Korean War from the beginning. The U.S. didn't join the Korean War until China came in. Until China and Russia joined, right? Because that's when I think South Korea, if I remember correct me if I'm wrong, South Korea was winning, but then they got pushed back as soon as China jumped in and Russia jumped in. And then they got pushed all the way back down to Busan, right?
Well, it's a bit complicated because I think the U.S. had forces here technically, but yes, it was that big.
Forces here. I think we might have had, if we had forces. Yeah. They were like super fresh, right? Because World War II ended in 1945 and the Korean War started in 1950.
It was interesting because we are kind of responsible for a little bit of that first push from North Korea because we didn't let I'm trying to think, was it Syngman Rhee? Maybe at the time, the president of Korea, we didn't want them to have as many weapons because we thought the South would invade the North, which could have happened if we allowed more
Yeah.
weaponry.
Mhm.
But then the North came in unprovoked. And you're right. I can't remember. I feel like when they were getting close to Busan, that's when MacArthur may have landed in Incheon
Yeah,
and
yeah, and that's when they
UN
cut the
forces
supply
came
line.
in. Yeah.
Yeah.
I should know this a lot better, but
No, that's right. Like I'm a history buff, so like, and then like you look at World War One, right? The U.S. was not going to enter World War One, right? The U.S. didn't enter World War One until like multiple things started happening. So like for one, I think I forgot the name of the ship, but I know a cruise liner was sunk.
Lithuania.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. I was going to say Lusitania, but yeah, that's right. So
Maybe
the
it is
cruise liner was
Lusitania.
sunk.
I think it's no. Sorry, Lithuania's a country. Oh my god, I'm an idiot. Lusitania. You're right.
So yeah,
You're right.
So that one, and then also the telegram that was sent to Mexico, telling Mexico to attack America from the southern border, and it got intercepted. And so I think there was one more thing after that. I can't remember what was the third one, but because of those things, America's like, all right, let me jump into the war. And then World War II, which I forgot what was World War or the reason why America jumped in for World War II. Do you remember? It was a big event. It was a big event.
Come on, I'm gonna smack you. World War II.
Yeah.
It was. I mean, come on. It's the movie. It's the movie. It's Brad Pitt.
It's the movie.
Was it?
I never
was
watched
Brad
the movie
Pitt?
actually.
Matt Damon and Brad Pitt, right? No, not Brad Pitt. Anyway, it was Pearl
Yeah,
Harbor.
it was Pearl Harbor. It was Pearl Harbor. Yeah, as soon as Pearl Harbor happened. Yeah, so we have people in the chat like you were like Pearl Harbor.
I should never be like my movie buff is terrible. My movie knowledge. But it was a Matt Damon. Not important. Anyway, yeah.
I don't even know. Look this up real quick.
What it would take for the U.S. to get involved is, of course, maybe an attack on a NATO country, but also the potential use of illegal weapons that are forbidden by I think it's the Geneva, one of the whatever it is. Like, so if anyone used a nuclear weaponry or napalm or whatever stuff that we've used in the past, I feel like once they cross a certain line.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. Who did you say was in the movie?
It's not Matt Damon, is it?
You're close.
It's Ben Affleck and
Josh Hartnett.
Oh, it was Hartnett, right?
Josh Hartnett.
Thank you.
Josh Hartnett. Yeah.
I was trying to think. I don't remember.
Oh, no, Matt Damon. Wait, is Matt Damon? What's this?
Isn't Matt? Well, Matt Damon and Affleck are in like everything else together, aren't they, or something? So
yeah. Oh, Pearl Harbor 2. There's a Pearl Harbor 2.
What?
What? Okay, we're not gonna. Okay, yeah, we're not gonna look at that. Okay. Anyway, yeah, we know who was in the first one. That's all that matters. So yeah, so we know they're not in. So I'm looking at the chat, and so Ukraine is in the process of joining NATO. So,
well, the funny thing about this whole attack is that it might actually be the reason that Ukraine ends up in NATO or the EU. As long as Ukraine wins. Yeah, I saw a comment earlier that I'm not really a fan of. Like, what would the U.S. do if Canada or Mexico and Russia made a military agreement?
I don't
like
know.
It's not comparable. Like, U.S. is in a weird position because we are relatively safe and we've built up pretty good economic alliances with Canada and Mexico, so we don't have to think about it. But, China is not necessarily a friend of Korea and Japan, and we don't invade them just because there's a threat on the border. Right. And the U.S. invades for oil. We have our own problems. Again, like we have our own stuff that I don't want to talk about because we're wrong. And that's absolutely true. But this whole like comparing Putin to a U.S. president or pretty much any other dictator in the world at this point is just not the same. It's just not. And so you're allowed to make fun of the U.S. for lots of things, but this is not something we did wrong here, and it's not something Ukraine did wrong here. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll say Putin is Putin. Putin is
Putin be Putin.
Putin.
Even his own people don't like him. I mean, what are you gonna say?
Yeah, yeah. So it's not a good battle. They're not in a good battle. Like Russia is it's an uphill fight for Russia.
Yeah,
Ironically, like it's not easy for Ukraine as well, but like it's definitely an uphill battle for Russia now that everybody is like, yeah, no. And I remember, Russia made or Putin made a nuke threat, and I was looking at a news correspondent respond. It was an American news correspondent, and he said, if Putin brings out the nukes, that will be bad for him because one, for sure the US, like our anti anything, air, sea, anything, would definitely deal with those nukes. We would know about it ahead of time. But then once he tries to pull that out, then basically the guy was like, that's going to be the end of the Putin regime. Like they will go in, America will find a way to go in and get him. Like they got Gaddafi, they got Saddam Hussein. Like, and there's only so many things where like, I will trash talk America, but in trash talking America, I will also be like, don't screw with America, especially when it comes to military and things like that, because they'll go after you. They will go after you hard. And like, because Putin is Russian and this long held hate and rivalry that the countries have with each other, or at least the governments have with each other.
Yeah.
It's not something that he should joke. He should be very careful with. I'm just saying.
There's a friend of mine I talked to who's got military connections, and I guess I'll leave it at that because I don't think we're supposed to talk about everything. But but we were talking about something that was not top secret, and one of the conversations was just like Putin's put himself in such a terrible situation that the biggest fear, of course, is that nuclear option, and it could be literally or metaphorically. But he said, at least from the people around him, that like the only possible ending, if he doesn't end it soon, is that Putin is removed from power. And he said there were two real possibilities. One, and not U.S. intervention and not country intervention. It was from within the oligarch community.
Yeah.
Or I don't want to say it was an assassination per se, but like he has to die.
Yeah.
But that's the only thing right now, because the only way he could maybe stay in power, I take that back. The only way he could maybe stay in power is if he actually takes Ukraine in like 3 days and then stops. And nothing happens. And the US doesn't want to get involved. But it's a little bit frightening. That's the only frightening part. He's pulling the Kim Jong-un kind of strategy of just seeming crazy, so you don't want to do anything to poke the snake, poke the bee's nest.
Poke the bear. Nah, yeah. Which is crazy, because even if he was to be taken out by somebody in the oligarch community, then there's no telling. Like, it makes me think of things like, I'm gonna go and say it. It makes me think of things like Dragon Ball or like whatever kind of other show where it's like the main villain is gone, but then there's always going to be another villain that's going to come back, and the next villain might be crazier than the one before, And it's just like, how do we know? How do we know that the next person is not going to be marble or lost their marbles too? He's already hiding in a bunker. This is such a repeat of 1945. Just get to the part where suicide.
Yo, did you see the? Yo, these are the Ukraine like UN speeches and stuff where he said like the Ukraine ambassador to the UN said something just like that about like he should just end his life or something. Like I'm like, oh,
it was pretty cold. It was pretty cold. I was like,
and like there's a spirit about Ukraine that is just so fascinating. I want to visit Ukraine after this. Like, I hope everything goes well and ends super soon, because like I have like this incredible respect for the people there. Yeah, and I just want to see what it's like.
Yeah. Igor, I need you to Igor, I need you to like. I've already planned on like going to the Ukraine, and I was gonna be like, Igor, hook me up, and so I'm gonna go. Does Alex know that you're Ukrainian? I don't know. Now he does.
Oh, hi.
I know this guy extremely well. So yes, so I know I'm going. Ukraine wants to and trying to join NATO. Russia doesn't want that, and they need Ukraine's waters.
Yeah, the Ukraine's waters is a big part of it, but there's more to it. I mean, it's a guy who has, like Hitler, has grievances from the end of an era. So for Hitler, it was the end of World War One. For Putin, it was the dissolution of the Soviet Union. He believes Russia should be bigger and stronger. He wants the power. He also has a situation where he needs to show power because he's losing support amongst his people. I mean, it's more than the whole NATO border thing is whatever. Like, it's just not. It's not a real thing because NATO's never attacked anyone. That's the thing.
Yeah.
NATO, the closest thing NATO had to attacking may have been 9/11. I don't know if that was NATO or not. I think that was just literally US going to allies and being like, help us. NATO's never infringed. I don't want to be wrong. So I will say they've never infringed on Russian territory.
Yeah.
And, and even now, like, it's incredible. Like, NATO's not a threat. They're not helping Ukraine except with weapons. They're not sending their troops in. They're not doing anything. And I still don't know if I wish they do because the whole repercussions of a nuclear fallout and all that crap. But NATO, if they were all about attacking Russia, they would have used Ukraine as an excuse to now go into Russia. If that was their whole goal in life, it's just not. It's not.
Christian, what's up? Welcome to the chat, man. We're just talking about everything's happening in the world and stuff, which reminds me, let me go ahead and pull up this next article. So,
all right, what else is happening in the world?
What else is happening in the world? Well, what else happening in the world is that the Korea joins the U.S. sanctions.
Oh, yeah.
And banning Russia's access to SWIFT. Alex, what exactly is SWIFT?
So SWIFT is basically, to put it super simply, it is a way for banks around the world to communicate with each other to facilitate the transactions of money from point A to point B. And that doesn't mean you can't send money across borders. You can use other forms, but SWIFT is like the quickest, the most secure. And perhaps that means even though a bank could find other ways to, like, you could send a fax technically to another bank to get money sent. I think that would, generally speaking, shut them out of the international financial banking system. And I don't know for sure. I think it's a country by country basis. But I don't know for sure on that particular one. Well, basically, it's limiting their access to bank transfers and also, as always, U.S. dollars.
I was gonna say, Igor said that he went to this, but not. He said not this one, but the one the day before this protest. Look at you. RC said, I was reading that many bars are removing Russian vodka and replacing it with Ukrainian vodka, which I saw that as well, and I saw. Maybe because I was looking at the Daily Show and they were showing it, but like basically people were pouring out Russian vodka out of into like gutters, basically just pouring Russian vodka in the gutters and everything, and it's just like the world is hitting them like monetarily with the banks, but then also I saw like soccer matches, like FIFA. I didn't FIFA suspend like the Russian team. Did you see that?
Yeah, something like that. I knew they've banned their flag, but I guess they banned the teams too. Maybe now this is recent news, I believe.
Yeah. See, also, they want to replace the name of the Moscow Mule. I remember, like, didn't we get into some, like, in America? Was it like 9/11?
Freedom fries, baby.
Yeah, the freedom fries. They're like, all right, screw the French. These no longer called French fries. These are freedom fries. Like, I remember that. So I'm wondering, like, if they're going to be like, all right, can I get a white Ukrainian? Can I get a black Ukrainian? This is like, it's not a white Russian anymore. It's not a black Russian. It's just.
That's a hilarious idea. I love that idea. I want a white Ukrainian, please. I want a black Ukrainian. I think that's great. And the moment this ends, and if Putin got out of power today, I would honestly go right back to supporting Russia because Putin's the problem. The Russian people have been, relatively speaking, amazing. The contacts that we have over there, are talking about how they don't want to be in this
Yeah.
war. They have friends in Ukraine. They have family in Ukraine. They
Yeah.
don't want to lose their Russian soldiers who the families are finding out at the last minute that they're going into battle.
Yeah.
I'm all about that. So I'm all about temporarily standing up against Russian everything. And then the moment this ends, mad love to the Russian people. They are good people. I've had plenty of Russian friends here. I do like them too.
That's so interesting. I was just reading this. A restaurant kicked out Russians today and put up a sign that says Russians are not welcome. I know
See,
it's like when that happens,
not in
like
favor
what
of
do you
that.
do?
I'm not in favor of that. I want to hurt the Russian economy in Russia, but I will not treat a Russian who is abroad. I won't treat a Russian in Russia poorly, except for like maybe not buying something they've made. But as far as I'm concerned, that's messed up to treat Russian people terribly because
Right,
it's
like
not
just
the citizens.
random person. Yeah, like
Yeah.
you gotta if you're gonna do that, and this is like these are these like vigilante people. It's like I want to help, so let me find the closest Russian I can and just Batman them real quick. It's just like no, that's not how you do it. Like
you're missing the point.
The purpose is to hit them in the pocket, hit the country, the government in the pocket. Don't just like smack somebody who's like they're just Russian. Like they
no. Yeah, the reason that we're hurting the Russian people is it's a tactical move to get them to really stop supporting their president, and they already kind of don't.
Yeah.
So understand that we're not really trying to hurt the Russian person, even though it's a consequence of war.
Yeah. Yeah. I had to call people out to not do the lazy. There you go, and just become phobic of Russian people. It's like Islamophobia following 9/11 or the Asian attack on Asian because of the pandemic. Exactly. Like it just repeats, right? It's just like this person or thing that we have a problem with, let me associate it with these regular people and then just hate on them. Like it just over and over again, it just spirals. It just spirals. It just spirals. Oh no,
Yeah, I mean,
okay, Chicklet, we got you. We knew that. Yeah. You said the government's the problem, not the people. No worry.
Yeah.
You're in the clear.
Yeah. I mean, if you think about it too, if well, I mean, depending on your definition of international injustice, if Trump had done something abroad and started a war, I mean, like I was embarrassed for some of the things that he did when he was stabbing our allies in the back for economic gain for his own personal, like, so. And then that point, I want people to know, like, hey, look, this is not what an American person does. I mean, even though I voted for Obama, what Obama does isn't the American person.
Exactly.
You know, he did more things that represented us, but like the people are always different from the government. There is very little exception, except maybe Ukraine, because he's literally of the people, and is that country again. Like I said, that country's so badass. I'm sorry. I'm a huge stan of Ukraine now.
Yeah. I mean, hey, Igor's like my man. My right, Igor. Yeah, it's a cool place. It's a really cool place. I've never been. I say it's a cool place. I've never been. But I can imagine because everybody I know who are from there are pretty cool. But I'm gonna say also, I think I know a lot of Russians as well, and a lot of Russians are pretty cool as well. It's just I've had the opportunity to meet really cool people, and I really like them, and so I would love to like go to these countries and everything, And so Ukraine, it's one country that I feel that if I go, I'll be fine, just because I know like the people there, and they're just so like for example, like I know this guy Igor, right? And I know his family, and then like other connections. So it's nice when you go places and you have connections. Which, speaking of which, Igor, where is your sister, by the way? She's not in Ukraine, is she? Hopefully she's not in Ukraine right now. So here's what's interesting. So Russia can't actually sing in Eurovision. I don't know if you saw that. They got booted out for now. The F1 won't be taking place in Russia. A lot of teams won't be. A lot of teams won't play against Russia, actually, in anything. And the World Taekwondo Federation revoked Putin. Oh no, that was the judo. The judo thing. Oh my god, no, I can't think of it off the top of my head. So Putin himself is a black belt in judo, and so he was the president of like the World Judo Federation or something like that.
Yeah,
I can't think of the organization. And so like he was actually, and then they basically booted him. But did Putin actually have a honorary 9th-degree black belt? I mean, that sounds about right because Donald Trump was given an honorary black belt, which I was like, bro, I had to go for 2.5 years. And I got kicked in the head and I got my toe disconnected and everything. And I'm like, and I did all that to get a black belt. Donald Trump is just Donald Trump. No. He gets a
he got two black belts so he could fit around them.
Bro, that make no sense, man. It make no sense.
That makes sense.
God damn.
I don't like body shaming, but I think you're allowed to body shame someone who body shames other people. So I can body shame Trump.
Yeah, right. I mean, he different. He different. How does Putin stay in power so long? Well,
power in his fear, in his inner circle.
In a circle, man, you just scare people into not running against you.
Yo, do you see like that guy in that pre-invasion press conference where the guy was like, so maybe we should like seek diplomatic measures first, and then Putin started being like, what's your real opinion? Diplomatic measures, what's your real opinion? I think that these regions belong to Russia. That is not what we're debating right now. I mean, that we should defend the people in those regions. Yes, that is what we were debating. And then, like, he had to go on like state television and do like an addendum to what he really believes later on. Like, those people are scared as nuts. And again, even the people close to him aren't necessarily bad people. They might just lose their family if they say the wrong thing.
Yeah, this is a bully, man.
Yeah,
just a bully. Yeah, people disappear whenever they talk against Putin. They just poof, gone.
Yeah,
they get Anastasia.
I don't know his name, but the political opponent of Putin who was shot a few years ago near a bridge. Apparently, that's like near where they're protesting right now against the war. It's like within range of that dude that died for whatever reason.
I know one got poisoned, and he recovered.
There's a guy that got underwear poisoned. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like these people, man. This dude. Really quickly, in the last one, the last article we have is Seoul is sending $10 million. I guess $10 million.
Yeah, $10 million USD, I believe.
To support refugees, which I think that's nice. I have my own opinion on this.
This is interesting because I think it's great. Obviously every dollar counts in that regard. I can't attack any gesture, but I believe what's happening and what I'm okay with is that some people in the international community are sending money straight to humanitarian, and some people are sending money for weapons, and some people are sending weapons. Mm-hmm. And as long as all of the sides get covered, then I'm not going to judge each individual country. I don't know how big this is in the grand scheme of things. What's your thoughts on this?
I was thinking about how Korea. Let me go ahead and take this down. It's kind of how Korea, when it comes to refugees, Korea has different stances, depending, right? I'm a little curious how this will be taken because I know some people will kind of buck back against sending money places. So like the Yemeni refugees that came over and lived in Jeju, this is what, 2017, 2018. A lot of people were very upset about that. I believe recently, did we have a good amount of Syrian refugees also come to Korea?
We have some, but I know Yemeni refugees. That was the main contentious one. I don't know how many Syrians came. I know they've come, but
I don't think Koreans are very like, oh yes, please come into our country. So who knows, maybe like sending money or like whatever weapons, Koreans have to help is great. I would love to see them do that every time. Because part of me also wondered because Korea is the culture, part of the culture that makes me giggle is that it has a whole bandwagon type culture element about it where like if this many people do this, then other people do this too. And like if a new restaurant open, there's a long line, and everybody jumps in that line, makes it even longer, And so it's just like a whole bandwagon mentality. So I would hope, and I don't think they are, at least I'm hoping, that they're not doing it as a bandwagon type thing where it's like, they jump on and give money in the world. And I have faith that Korea wouldn't do that, but I would love to see them in that sense do that for whenever different countries need aid and they need the help,
Yeah. Again, something we can't blame the people for it because it's a government decision. But I think
Exactly.
you have an interesting point because there's so many. I mean, if we want to get into the real international geopolitical landscape of everything, it's so interesting what makes us sympathetic to a country and its refugees. Because we have the easy one. You can talk about race. Is it a country that's white or not? And you can immediately jump. Are they from the Middle East or not? Are they from Africa or not? You can. But also, then Ukraine has the element of being a democracy, and that also hits home because we can imagine losing a democracy. And so you've got this mixture of everything, and because Korea is also economically more powerful than Ukraine, which generally would mean you care less about them. I mean, not like you and I, but like you. So it's this weird mixture of, is it race? Probably. Is it the fact that they're a democracy and it's Russia who is anti-democratic? Probably.
Yeah.
Is it financial? Maybe because they're considered part of Europe. But yeah, I mean, do we see anyone sending money for the refugees that are literally crossing and going into Europe and risking their lives? No.
No, sorry. I was looking at something because it's funny. We were talking and I thought about a clip I saw today. I'm pretty sure many of you probably also saw the clip as well. And I know this is not as much about Korea. I know we always talk about Korea this, Korea that. But I saw a news report today about how some of the news coverage is very, very negative, very, very, very racist in the sense of people were saying that it's very unusual to see a European nation go through something like this, to have refugees and stuff like that. Because it's a very have you seen these things? Have you seen these clips?
No, I have not. I've not.
Yeah, I thought it's really interesting. They compared it to a lot of the countries further south, like within Africa or like Middle East and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna show you a clip. There's a couple. Let me make sure. Yeah, okay, there's a couple. Here you go. Let me. Are you talking about the king? I don't know if I was talking about the Kenyan ambassador. I don't know if it was the Kenyan ambassador. It may be. So here is one. Hold on, let me go back a little bit. So basically, it's just a collection of multiple people who just said like different remarks about the coverage. Hold on, he should say it right.
Relatively civilized for decades.
Let me go back a little bit.
I like it.
Okay, there we go.
This isn't a place, with all due respect, like Iraq or Afghanistan, that has seen conflict raging for decades. This is a relatively civilized, relatively European.
So he said this is a very relatively civilized, relatively European.
But he said with all due respect, so he's allowed to say whatever he wants.
Right? It's
like I'm not racist, but
if that's with all due respect, it's just like
if you say no offense, but then you're fine.
It's implying that that these nations are very that any nation that's not European is not civilized.
But just look at the way that we treated the people who were going to be refugees, or the way that we treated the downfall of Afghanistan, in a way. A country that lost its government, a country that it's our leaving that caused them to lose it. And we were like, we don't want the refugees coming. The ones that are like the way we treat Afghanistan refugees, and then of course refugees from other parts of the world like Yemen. And when I say other parts of the world, I mean the Middle East and Africa. And South Probably Southeast Asia, although I don't want to get into specifics. I don't know many details. I don't say refugees isn't the right word, but immigrants who come over are like, we don't
Yeah.
treat anyone well if they're not from a quote unquote civilized. Like there's a hierarchy of how well we treat people, right?
Yeah, there is. There's a hierarchy. There's a hierarchy.
And yeah, it's we definitely it's yeah. I mean, I don't want to say we. I don't know what we is. The media dropped the ball on this and focus on, and maybe that's something that we can consider too. Like, because I am super focused on this. Is it because of Russia? I think so. I'm really interested in geopolitics, but is there an element of, well, it's someone who I see my skin color and can relate to? Probably. Be realistic on that.
Igor said, "Does people actually know this war has been going on for 20 years now?"
Yeah, right. That's the thing too. When he said that, I was like, relatively peaceful area. I'm like, y'all talk about the same Ukraine I'm talking about.
Yeah, it's just, I guess everybody now is just more aware of it, because it's just like it's right here in the news. There's always been an undertone of racism, which makes it no surprise that Africans are being mistreated. Which, if we really look about as to why there's so many wars within Africa, I mean, this is a whole nother tangent for me to get on, but it's just a lot of the time these wars are happening because there's destabilization within the region, because somebody destabled the region. That's historical, right? That's going back to like colonization, people coming in and screwing stuff up, and they break a country and then they leave. Break country and then leave, and then it's like, oh, well, look at all the wars they're having. Things weren't always like this, but when people came in, start taking resources, breaking people, stealing things, and then they just leave. It's just like, and then you wonder why there's so many wars and fighting. It's a lot of history when it comes to that. So, to be honest, a lot of issues in the Middle East, Africa. I mean, there you go, right there. Okay, are at the hands of the U.S. So, how we talk about the conflicts in the region are directly because of our actions. Yeah, a lot of these countries that are dealing with this stuff, at some point they were colonized, right? And then they had their whole place just flipped upside down, and people were like, hey, I got what I want, bye. Or now it's like, it's wrong for me to own you, so I'm just gonna leave. I'm not gonna fix things, I'm just gonna leave, bye. And then now we're like, oh, how could this happen? And World War III starts, I'm moving to Australia. You will be fine in Australia, that's for sure. They ain't gonna do nothing. So
yeah,
they'll send troops over. They'll send troops, but nobody's gonna go fight in Australia.
I still gotta survive all the snakes and crocodiles, but yeah, the spiders too kind of scary. So I don't know if I'd want to.
Yeah. We also need to realize that Africa is a huge ass continent with European countries refusing to acknowledge their part. That's right. So, like, America, we have our hands dirty. Well, I say we, but my folks were in bondage, but I digress.
we.
Sorry about that, but like,
it's all connected though.
Europeans, I mean, the Portuguese, their hands are dirty. Spanish, their hands are dirty. The English, don't you need to say?
Really, it's pretty much all of it. I mean, because either somehow your hand was in the trade, even if you're American. Obviously, okay, we accepted some of the trade. We didn't imperialize the area, but we certainly benefited from its exploitation. And so if you're European, you might have exploited it or benefited from it. If you're an American, I mean, who knows? Like, I'm from America, but my ancestors weren't in America when slavery happened. But I bet there were some things that our countries were doing that were not good.
There's a lot of things the country were doing that were not good. Really quickly, to kind of just take just a quick pause. First of all, thanks to everybody for just hanging out. I know today's topic was a little bit more serious, just because we're kind of talking about just things that are happening right here, right now. We're not really talking about K-pop or like dramas or anything like that, which we could, but we're not really talking about that today. But obviously there's a lot happening, and we just kind of want to focus on other events that are happening in the world, more specifically, obviously within the Ukraine and everything. So just huge thanks for everybody just kind of just hanging out and spending time with us and everything. And I'm gonna try and stream more. Alex has talked to me earlier, and I was like, yeah, I do need to make sure that I do more for the channel, because I definitely stream. I love streaming for Twitch, but I definitely want to try and stream more on my actual YouTube channel. That way I can also build it up more. Because I remember also at one point within our live streams, we were just like, we had like 40 some people in the stream. So juggling that. So now I'm like, okay, we got to kind of get that back. But that just comes with just streaming and people getting used to that one day a week where like they can expect streams. So
oops, I didn't even like your stream yet. There we go. 19. Come on, get that number up. 15 people watching.
I didn't even like my own stream yet.
But 3 of you did it.
Right? So if y'all haven't done so, make sure you like the stream. I'm trying to figure out if I should go and keep it up. I'm also going to start a Patreon at some point, so I'll let y'all know when that happens.
Keep up the stream. Why not? Let's do it.
Leave up the stream. I'll leave up the stream. We'll leave up the stream. Why not?
As long as we didn't say anything stupid that's going to get us canceled, then we're fine.
We didn't say anything stupid to get us canceled. How do you feeling, by the way? You got to work tomorrow.
I'm fine, as long as I get to bed by a decent hour. I got my free water from the fridge down here. Every Korean hotel always comes with 2 bottles of water.
It's that same bottle too. It's that same bottle.
Mm-hmm.
The same bottle. So I think what I am going to do though, why wouldn't I leave it up? I mean, the thing is, I know if you delete it, then the views don't count and the watch time doesn't count. So I probably should just leave it up, in that case.
I think it's hard to tell. We don't really know how the YouTube algorithm works, because maybe it hurts it if it's a lower number, or maybe it doesn't. And someone who missed it gets to see it now and enjoy it, or leave it up for like a week or two and then take it down, whatever.
Typically when I leave it up, I probably get like an extra 200 views, like a 200 some plus people watch it. So it surprises me. So I can't complain. But anyway,
I like you guys my emo hair before I leave. It's like in preparation for our album release coming up. So
when are y'all dropping the album?
We're hoping to be done recording at the end of this month, and then we got to make some music videos.
Nice.
So, probably maybe like end of April.
Yeah.
The songs are good, by the way. It's like a legit sophomore album. It's like we got better than our first one. Yeah. I mean, obviously, but it's it'll be a cool one.
You're right. It's still in. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, man. I need to come see y'all play. Like, I haven't had a chance to even come see you play yet.
Yeah, we're not going to do anything until the album's done as far as shows. So that's good in a way.
Yeah, that's good.
But yeah, if y'all want to make sure to follow that later, Pira, Pira, or I think it's band_Pira on Instagram. But yeah, it's going to be dope. And I'm really excited because I really want to do a show for my friends, because I really haven't been able to do that yet, because I want to be out there and I want my friends to mosh at my concert. Even if it's a slow song, I want you to mosh at the concert.
I'm ready to mosh, bro. I'm ready. Yeah, thanks everybody for coming through. If you haven't done so already, please make sure you go check out Alex at his channel, which you need to upload a video now.
I do. I got a good one coming out. It's a long one, and I guess if I edit my ass off this weekend, I can have it out by next week. It's like an hour and a half, 2.5. It's long.
It's a freaking movie, bro.
It's me and me and April. I mean, April can talk, and it's gonna be a fun one. So
that was the one that I missed. That one.
Yeah. And I do need to make new ones as well. So just keep on me on that one.
Yeah. If you haven't already, here's Alex's video. His channel. Excuse me. Make sure you swing on through and subscribe if you haven't. These 2 videos kill me.
Oh man. Those are fun.
These were fun. There
might be a follow-up of the Hongdae pickup artist, because he just created a new channel.
Really?
Or no, he created the new website. I shared the website. Remember, it was just like a different. It's still the same creepy fish hat guy, but he called it Asian something again.
Basically,
it was worse.
I forget
what it was.
It's a guy that has stuff on how to pick up girls in Korea, but it's really sleazy. It's so sleazy. I went into their. I hope he's never watching. I went into their Discord chat. The dude's a freaking creep. But there's even creepier guys in the chat. I believe you. And when they think nobody's looking, they say the nastiest heat. So yeah, I love the title, Creeper. Yeah. Quick question: what's a good place to visit as a tourist? Seoul. There's your answer right there. If you're trying to get the most out of one trip, just go to Seoul.
Depends on what you want, but I would say Seoul. And if sometimes you can do this pretty easily, if you can get outside of Seoul, then I would put Jeonju on that list. Like do a quick trip to Jeonju, 2 days out of a 10-day trip. Go to Jeonju, do the Hanok house, the traditional house, and get some bibimbap down there.
That sounds good, actually. So, Alex, thank you for tonight. I appreciate it. We'll have to stream again very soon.
Thanks for having me, and cheers to everyone. Thanks for joining. Appreciate the conversations, and like I said, like this video.
Yeah. See you next time. Yes, thank you. I'm just gonna put you right here. Of course, you don't have to leave. You're still here, just hanging out. Everybody, again, thanks so much for kind of coming through. I really appreciate it. Yeah, tonight was not as much of a Korea type of night, but we are going to do some more Korean content in the future, obviously. Yeah, I need to find a good live stream day. It used to be Wednesdays. Today's Tuesday. I need to figure out. It might go back to being Wednesday again. Wednesday or Sunday. What do you think? Wednesday or Sunday?
Well, thank God I wasn't doing anything stupid. I think we should coordinate and do it together. I mean, not the same time, but Sunday might be good. I think it depends on what you want. I think Sunday is decent though, because it's a way to wind down the week. That's my first vote. Yeah. But put one of those like polls in your
Yeah, I'll do that. I'll do that.
Yeah, because Sunday morning is good for the Western Hemisphere too.
Yeah.
So
okay. Yeah, let's talk about that. We'll talk about that.
Yeah.
All right, I'll just put Alex back in the corner. Okay, sorry about that, Alex. All right, so yeah, thanks, y'all. I really appreciate it. Also, make sure you go over, check out new video. It's all about Korea's protests, March 1st movement that happened back in 1919. It's very historical. So if you like history and you want to know more about Korean history, it's a really quick video, 59 seconds. And yes, check it out. Fridays are good too. I have to check that out. Y'all, it was so great to have y'all come through. Y'all have a good one. And y'all be cool. Peace. Got to play the intro.